Hello, today we're talking about hill forts. Now, you're probably wondering why I am out here talking about hill forts. Well, there's a very good reason, and we'll get back to it probably near the end of the video. But first, I want to just go through the whole thing about hill forts. Hill forts are quite possibly some of the oldest defensive structures in Britain. And for laymen at least, the more well-preserved ones are very easy to spot. For laymen, they're usually big hillocks with ramparts carved into them, out in the middle of nowhere usually, far from any roads or bus routes. Well, I'm going to challenge that last bit, because in Edinburgh, urban Edinburgh, there is actually a handful of hill forts. Most obvious one, of course, is Edinburgh Castle. Yes, Edinburgh Castle is a hill fort. It's quite possibly the world's oldest continuously used hill fort, because right up until the 1920s it was a barracks. But there's also less obvious hill forts. Like on Arthur's Seat, there's actually 4 confirmed hill forts. There's one on Samson's Ribs, there's one on Salisbury Crags, there's one near the summit, and there's one up near Dunsapie Loch. Alongside that, there are actually 2 other confirmed hill forts, one at Craiglockett Hill and one on Blackford Hill. Now, it's generally assumed by most people that hill forts are primarily defensive. And yeah, they obviously they obviously are. Muckle, great forts on top of hills where you can see everything and you can see people coming towards you, usually a bit better than they can see you looking down at them. Obviously, that makes sense. But that sort of idea that they were purely defensive has been challenged in recent years. For example, there are some archaeologists that believe that some hill forts might actually have a ritualistic purpose. There's also the argument that hill forts also have a deterrence value to them. I mean, hill forts are pretty damn imposing. You know, you can see a hill fort for miles around, the people on the hill fort can see for miles around, and as statements they can say something along the lines of, don't try anything, we can see you, you can see us, don't try anything. Basically, the Neolithic, Bronze Age and Iron Age version of saying, beware of the dog, he's big, he's bad, and he will maul you. Now, you're probably wondering why I am out here in Edinburgh's Green Belt, near the tram line, which is just over there, and up near the RBS headquarters. Well, there's a very good reason for that. Just over there used to be a hill fort. Now, you're probably looking at me thinking, hang on, a hill fort over there? And I know it sounds a little bit weird, the idea of there being a hill fort, in a relatively flat, relatively low-lying, but obviously a little bit raised area out in a relatively flat countryside. It just sounds a little bit nuts, but believe it or not, there is actually a hill fort. Not much of the hill fort actually remains. There's not really any sort of remains like artifacts or post holes or even ramparts, but on drier days, aerial surveys have picked out crop marks which have confirmed that behind me there used to be a hill fort. And that challenges the whole idea that hill forts have to be out in the middle of nowhere, carved out of big muckle great hills. Sometimes they're out in the green belt on sort of lowish lying hillocks, out in, Edinburgh's green belt.